everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome to a new video. Happy Bookmas Day 10. Today's video is going to be a end of year book haul. So this book haul is all of the books that I've bought since or acquired since October. There might even be some from September that I have not gathered because I think my last book haul was from September. And you know what? Surprisingly, there are not that many books for 3 months. Like, you'd think there would be more, but I think it's because I always try to read the books that I have, and I got gifted so many books for my birthday, and I bought a lot of books. It seems like there should be more, but there's not. So I also should say that I'm not really going to be giving a lot of synopses and like my thoughts on these books because most of these I have read. So I don't want to make this like a wrap up. If you want to know my thoughts on these, you can check out my wrap ups because I have read most of these. But I will be giving like a very brief synopsis and like where I got it from and why I got it, you know, kind of thing. All right, let's get right into it. So first, let's talk about my book of the month picks from October. So my book pick for that month was The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This is like a contemporary romance, like witchy rom-com kind of thing. Like, picture the cheesiness of a Hallmark movie in a book set in Halloween. That's what this book was. So yeah, I picked this one up because I was in the, witchy reading mood and romance reading mood in the beginning of October. And this just seemed like the perfect book to pick up around Halloween. So that's why I chose this one. And then I added on Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney because this was a book pick in September. And everybody had read and loved this. And I was just feeling the FOMO. And I was like, you know what? It's a really quick thriller. I'm just gonna add it and see if I like it. And yeah, this is perfect to read like at the end of the year because it's like set in winter, so that was like kind of fun. I do wish that I would have saved this until like it had actually snowed, just because like the atmosphere was really good. So yeah, I added this one on. And then one of my favorite books of the year came out in October, and that is Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. This is one of my most anticipated releases of this year, so of course I got it right away when it came out. And yeah, no regrets there. I will be doing the same thing with the third book, which the title has been released, if you didn't see, Kingdom of the Feared. Cannot wait. But yeah, I needed this book in my hands as soon as it came out, so I got it, and here we are. This is book 2 in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I'm not going to talk much about this book because it would be spoilers even to say like where it's set. So I got this one. Then I bought an anthology here. It is Scouts. It's a dark romance anthology, and I bought it specifically to read Penelope Douglas's short story. They're all only about like 50 pages long or something like that. And I was in a romance reading mood, so I thought that I would be able to read this whole thing, but I have since come out of my romance reading mood, and so I only read Penelope Douglas's short story, which I don't know where that one is. So I read about this much of this giant 1,000-page anthology. But yeah, I specifically bought this because of the Penelope Douglas short story, and I knew that this was like a limited time, like being able to get it in the paperback as opposed to an ebook, so I bought it. And then I bought the new cover of Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I have the original cover, and I wanted the cover to match the rest of the series because it looks cool sitting on my shelf. And if you didn't know, if you like Penelope Douglas or you buy Penelope Douglas books, if you buy directly from her website, you can get them signed, like at no additional charge. So it says, "To Hannah, see you in the steam room, Penelope Douglas." So if you know, you know. But yeah, I'm really glad to have a signed copy of this because I did really like Corrupt, and now I have one that matches my set. You know, I said I was going to give brief synopses of these books, and I haven't done that really yet, so maybe I just won't. You can look it up if you're really curious about these books. I'm sure I've talked about them in videos elsewhere, so moving on. Ooh, the next one that I got was A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 1 in the Flesh and Fire series, which is the prequel series to the Blood and Ash series. And honestly, this was a nice like story to read to bridge the little gap between when the third book came out and when the fourth book is coming out, because like I still wanted to read more of this world and Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing, but I knew we had to wait for the fourth book, but it was really nice to have this one. So I'm really glad that I read it because I wasn't sure that I would, but honestly, I think it's important to read this. You get a lot of important information that you'll need for the original series. So if you haven't read this yet, but you're reading the Blood and Ash series, don't skip this one. It's really good. You'll like it. The next book I picked up was Luna and the Lie by Mariana Zapata. I have been making my way through a few of Mariana Zapata's books. She writes very long, slow burn romances, and this was Chloe's, from Books with Chloe's, Patreon book club pick. And since I was in that romance reading mood and I really like Mariana Zapata, I was like, heck yeah, give me that book. So that's why I picked this one up, and I still have All Roads Lead Here from like my birthday, when my mom got it for my birthday. And I haven't read it yet because, like I said, I'm not really in a romance reading mood right now. I have 3 romances on my physical TBR right now, and I want to read them so that I can read them and not have to have them for months on end. But also I'm like, I just want to read fantasy. But anyways, that's not related to this at all. I was in a romance reading mood at the time that I read this. But I know Chloe did not enjoy this one. I think she gave it a 2-star. I think I gave it a 4-star, but this isn't a wrap up. God, I'm so bad at book hauls. All right, moving on to November. I did not buy a lot of books in November. I will say though, I did buy the After series by Anna Todd. I bought the whole series. I bought them all. Because I was homesick one day and I binge watched both of the movies that were on Netflix, and then begged my friend Casey to come with me to the theater to see the third one, which she did. And yeah, they're not great. And so I like the movies in the way that they are purely entertaining. They're not good. They're not good. I would go so far as to say I wouldn't even recommend that you watch them. But if you have and you understand like what I mean when they're like addicting, like they're not good. They're so bad. They're toxic. They're bad. But they're so entertaining. And so I bought the book series because I had seen lots of people talking on TikTok about how the book series is better and how good the books are and how it was like their formative like books or the book series that got them into reading, like kind of like Twilight was for me. And I read the first book and I hated it. It was so bad. I hated it. I hated the writing. I hated both of the characters who I felt in the books had no redeeming qualities. In the movies, I feel like they're a little bit easier to swallow. That's not a phrase I want to say for that. No, they're a little easier to take, easier to handle. Okay. Anyways, I did buy the whole series and have since unhauled them because I really, really did not like the first book. And I'm not going to continue on. So those are gone, but I did buy those in November. Then I bought The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. This is a portal fantasy, and I had seen it compared to The Starless Sea, which I absolutely love The Starless Sea, and I've been wanting to do a reread of it, and I will. But for some reason, I'm like putting off my reread until the right time in December, so I haven't reread it yet, but I can tell it's coming soon. But anyways, I picked this one up specifically because it had been compared to The Starless Sea, and I definitely can see the comparisons in it, and I'm really glad I got it. I tried reading Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, and I ended up DNFing that one. I think last year, or was it the beginning of this year? I don't remember, but that's one where it's like, I will pick it up to try it again. So I didn't want to like just not pick up a book by this author because I wasn't invested in the first book that I picked up by them. But yeah, I really like the cover too. So I am glad that I picked this one up though, and I definitely want to check out more from Alex E. Harrow. I know that they have a novella, Sleeping Beauty retelling that Ashley from Ashley's Little Library really liked, so I'll definitely be checking that one out too. But yeah, The 10,000 Doors of January. And then the next books that I picked up are the Winter Night trilogy. So I first picked up The Bear and the Nightingale. I got it used. I got all of these used actually, and some of them, like this one had like a cup ring, like somebody set a cup on it. So I had to wipe that off. And then this one, like The Girl in the Tower, the second book, something, I don't know if you can see, something green or blue spilled on it. And the cover was sticky, so I had to like wipe that off too. I don't know, but the book is still in pretty good shape. But anyways, I read The Bear and the Nightingale. This was the one that I bought first. Obviously, it's the first in the trilogy. And I just wanted to see what it was all about, and I read it, and I really, really liked it. So then I immediately picked up the next 2 books. But yeah, this trilogy, I feel like, is the perfect winter fantasy. Like, if you're in the mood for an atmospheric, wintry fantasy with like Russian folklore and fairy tales. This book has it all. It was so good. Anyways, again, this isn't a wrap up. I bought this trilogy. Okay, then my December book of the month box came with 4 books in it this month, which usually you're only like able to get 3, but because of the end of the year, they do the book of the year. If you're a book of the month BFF, you get the book of the year for free. So in my box, my December book pick was A History of Wild Places by Shea Earnshaw. I didn't know very much about this. I heard that it was like magical realism a little bit, and that was pretty much all I knew. I mostly got sucked in by the cover. And I've read Shea Earnshaw's young adult books before, and so this was their adult debut. So I really wanted to pick this one up. Well, you know, okay, spoiler alert for my December wrap up. I DNF'd this book. I did not like this. It was so slow, which is disappointing. It's sad. But I did really want to pick it up. So I'm glad that it was a book of the month selection so that I could try it out. Yeah. Then I added on The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I wanted to add this one on because I was the guest on Jan's Full Moon Book Club. Oh my god, why is that such a tongue twister for me every time I try to say it? Jan's Full Moon Book Club. This was the book club pick, and I was the guest, and so I wanted to add this on because, like, why wouldn't I? And we did have the live show, obviously, on Jan's channel, so if you didn't get to watch it live, you should still go back and watch it because we had really great discussions about this book, so if you have read it, you should go watch that. It was fun. Then the book of the year choice that I picked was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. You could have chosen any of the 5 finalists, but I had already read and owned 3 of those books, so I didn't want to pick any of them. And then the other one besides this one, I have no interest in reading that one, so this was just the choice that I had. And yeah, it's got the little book of the year 2021 emblem guy on it. It's actually a very pretty cover, like with the black and the gold. I like that. But yeah, historical fiction is not typically my thing, but I have read from Kristen Hanna in the past and enjoyed historical fiction. It just took me a while to get into it, so that is something that I am worried about this. The other book that I read was The Nightingale, and I picked it up for a book club that I had with my coworkers back when we did fun things before the pandemic. And I probably would have DNF'd that book because it took like 250 pages for me to get invested. So by that time, I probably would have DNF'd it if it wasn't for the book club. So I'm a little worried that I'm going to try to read this and I'm not going to get invested right away, and then I'm not going to want to finish it. So, but I do want to give it a try because I do really like Kristen Hanna's writings. And it was also really nice that this was free because I'm a BFF. And then the other one that I added on was The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. I picked this up because it is, you know, seems to be a very Christmassy contemporary romance, and it's Christmas time and I'm in the festive mood, but I'm not in a romance mood, so I'm not really sure why I added this on. I think I got sucked in by the like festive pitch, you know, so I don't even know if I'll read this one. But basically I heard it was pitched as The Holiday meets The Parent Trap, so that does sound kind of interesting, but I don't know if I'll actually get to this one. This might be a save it for next Christmas. Now, it is not Christmas yet, but Brandon and I have this bad habit of giving each other our gifts for each other like really early, so we've already done that. We just can't wait. Like, once they're wrapped, it's like, okay, open it right now, like I want to see what you think. But he got me 2 books. The first one was Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Jomny Sun. This is like a kind of a graphic novel, right? Where it's got like illustrations. It's like hardly any writing on it, but it's all like existentialist. Like, it talks about what it means to be a human and like the things that humans think about and do that might seem silly if you are an outsider to this planet. And it kind of just talks about like this feeling of belonging, and it was cute. It was a short read. And I wanted to try this because I had heard people say like it's really, you know, really beautiful, despite the fact that it's like very simplistic, you know? So thank you, Brandon, for that. And then he also got me this beautiful edition of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte with illustrations by Marjolaine Baston. I have the Pride and Prejudice copy that is the same like edition as this. So basically it just has these like really pretty floral, I don't know, drawings. It was just like little, oh, I don't know where that went, little illustrations. And it also, as you will have seen because it fell out, it has like little things inserted into it. This is a map of West Yorkshire. And there's other like little things tucked into the pages that just make it super interesting. And it's just a really pretty copy. So I really want to get the audiobook and listen like while I follow along, because I'm not a super big classics reader. So sometimes like the phrases they say, if I don't hear it being said, they just like, the meaning just like slips away from me. So I really want to listen to the audiobook, and I'm really happy to have this very, very beautiful copy. And then the last book that I have on this book haul is Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuzniar. I really want to read winter fantasies right now. After reading The Bear and the Nightingale, that's like all I want to read. And I think this is Jody's Patreon book club pick from Vanilla Moon, Jody from Vanilla Moon. I think. She's where I heard it from. And it's like a Nutcracker retelling, like with portal fantasy. I really want to read winter fantasies, and that's what this is. And it's like set around Christmas, so this is like the perfect time of year to read it. That's why I bought it, and it's really pretty. Yeah, those are all of the books that I have bought and kept for the last 3 months. Like 18 books for 3 months. That's really not bad. I mean, granted, like I don't count in my book hauls like books that I have bought in those months and then unhauled, which I do. Like the after books, I don't count those. There were some other books that I had that I just was like, why did I buy this? I'm not going to read this. So I got rid of them right away and sold them on my Depop. But yeah, 18 books that I've read and kept over the last 3 months. That is my end of the year book haul. Like I said, you'd think there would be more, but I wasn't buying as many books as I normally do because I had been gifted so many. And so I didn't really want to buy more because I didn't want my TBR to get really, really big. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little haul, and I hope you're having a great Sunday. Leave a comment down below if you have read any of these books, or you could even leave a comment of how many books you have hauled in the last 3 months, if you know that number. There's a fuzz. Got it. And thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!